So here's the current data set. Apparently to get here, we have taken several steps. Okay, as you can see here from the Power Query editor, those are the steps we have taken to eventually get to the current state of the data. So we have basically go to the source, which is the Profit.com's API access. There we get the data, and then we convert the data into a JSON format, and then we do some transformation to make the table more readable like this. So if you want to look at exact code that implemented all this Power BI steps to convert, to access data, to convert data to the current state, you can go to this Home tab, Advanced Editor. Okay, here it shows all the so-called M code, the entire coding that's implemented this steps. Okay. We don't necessarily need to rely on the coding to do these steps. As we have seen, we did actually just by clicking the menus and buttons and get to the current state. Okay. However, it's going to be helpful to understand at least the first line of this code. Okay, this so-called source. Okay, how do you access the internet data and get it out in a JSON format? All right. So understanding this part is going to be very helpful for you to gain more control about how to access internet data and get the exact piece of information that you wanted. Okay. So basically, I'll just copy this entire code. Okay, I'll just copy this entire code into a notepad. I already have done it here. Okay. So here is basically the code. I just pasted here. So let's take a look at this first line of command. Let's call it source. Okay, source command. So it's actually very simple. It utilizes two functions. The first is this JSON document function. The other is this web contents function. Okay, so let's look at the web contents function. This function basically utilizes. Okay, this is the entire function. This function basically utilizes the URL we used to access data. Remember, we used the get data menu using the Power BI desktop there. We pasted a URL. Okay, in that URL, we need to specify the ticker symbol of the stock we want to access. We want to place your own personal API key there as a credential to access the data. Okay. You also need to specify the start date and end date. Okay. So that's the URL. Okay. Basically, that's the URL here. We have pasted into that dialog box so we can get data from Profit.com using Power BI desktop. Okay. So this web content function basically use that URL and access the content from Profit.com. Okay, this is basically the web content function does. It just utilize a URL you provide and access that particular website and try to get the web content from that website. Okay, after gets the web content from that website, Power BI use another function called JSON document. That basically converts whatever web contents you have accessed into a JSON format. Okay, JSON is just a particular format which organize the content you get from the web page. Okay, it can be like a table, it can be like text. Okay, so basically those are just two very simple functions. The first one, the web contents function, allows you to access the contents on that website using the URL you provided. Okay. The second function, the JSON document function, basically convert whatever contents on that website into JSON format, so Power BI can actually access and organize. All right. So the reason I want to discuss about this, well, is because the URL itself actually has some interesting elements, and you can control those elements to help you access the exact information you wanted. Okay, so actually I explicitly have this URL pasted here. Okay, so I'll explain the structure of this URL. It has several elements. The first elements is pretty standard. Okay, this is basically the first elements. It tells you the kind of the web address you wanna go. Okay, this is gonna be the profit.com's data API, and you want to access the market data. You want to access historical daily data. So this part of the URL tells you the information regarding that particular website you want to go. All right. Then the second part, which is this part, is more specific information regarding what stock you want to access, what data duration you want to access. Okay. So the first element, well, okay, so the first part of this URL, I call it base URL. All right. So here I define it as base URL. Okay. This is the first part of this URL address. Okay. Then this part is what I call stock symbol. Okay. You need to specify in this URL what stock you want to access. AAPL is Apple. You can access Tesla TSLA. You can access Costco COST. Okay, so as long as you specify a particular stock symbol, this URL will basically access that particular stock in profit.com's data source. That's followed by this question mark token equals your API key. So here is where you place your personal API key. All right. So question mark token equals is kind of a marker that tells you, okay, following this, you need to put your API key. All right. So you basically copy and paste your personal API key here to replace this segment of the string. All right. And this entire string, okay, question mark token equals your API key will basically tell the profit.com's API that's your credential, and with your credential you can access their data source. Then after this, the next elements is gonna be the start date of your query. All right, this AND symbol is a symbol that connects different strings. Okay, we have several parts in this URL, and some of the parts need to be connected. So this AND symbol is kind of just a functional symbol that connects strings together. Okay, so after this AND symbol, you need to specify the start date. Start underscore date equals, okay, after this you need to tell exactly what date you want to start, and this has to be in the following format: YYYY dash MM dash DD. Basically the first 4 digits has to be the year, then you have a dash followed by 2 digits that specify the month. Okay, so this is going to be January, then another dash followed by another 2 digits that specify the date. So this is going to be the first day of the month. Okay. So once you specify the start date, and again you need to have a AND symbol, which will link you to the next element of this URL, which is the end date. Okay. So now you specify the end date, and underscore date equals, again, the exact date needs to be specified as 4 digits as year, dash 2 digits as month, dash again, then the last 2 digits being the day of the month. Okay, so this is kind of the entire structure of this URL. Okay, by following this structure, profit.com's API will know what exact information you wanted. Okay, you need to provide your credential, your API key. That's your credential, so that you have access to their data source. You also need to provide the information about the stock symbol so that they know what stock you want to access. And lastly, you need to tell them what's the start date and end date of your query. Basically, what's a duration of stock trading data you want to access for the particular stock you want to